In this episode of the Courageous Public Health podcast, Indya Hairston, Johns Hopkins DrPH student, founder of Community Speaks Consulting, and advocate for Black women's reproductive and maternal health, shares how courage defined her pivotal year of 2023. She talks about moving across the country for a fresh start, applying to only one doctoral program because it aligned with her purpose, quitting a stable nonprofit job to launch her consulting firm without guaranteed income, and choosing faith over fear at every step. Indya reflects on taking up space as a Black woman in environments where her voice isn't always welcomed, the responsibility and exhaustion that can come with speaking when others cannot, and how looking back at her own life has become evidence of her courage. She also shares a bold vision for public health, where communities lead, the table keeps expanding across sectors, and academia is disrupted so the next generation of Black women can more easily see themselves in the work. You're listening to the Courageous Public Health Podcast, episode 41. To all the courageous women leading in public health, this podcast is your space to turn up the volume on your courage. This space centers your voice. This space celebrates your passion. This space amplifies your courage. My role? To listen, to amplify, and to stand with you in the fight for equity. My name is Dr. Christy McClamrock. I am an epidemiologist, consultant, the founder and CEO of Courageous Public Health, and the host of the Courageous Public Health podcast. Each week, I have real, unfiltered conversations with women in public health about the challenges you face, the power you hold, and your vision for the future. We talk about the authenticity, vulnerability, and courage that you bring, not just to public health, but to every part of your lives. Because courage is about action, even in fear. It's about taking up space, leading unapologetically, refusing to be erased, and knowing you never have to do it alone. If you're ready to turn up the volume on your courage, if you're ready to take up space, if you're ready to smash the racist, patriarchal, cisnormative, heteronormative, ableist, capitalistic systems, then listen to this new episode. Hello, and welcome to the Courageous Public Health Podcast. I'm Dr. Christy McClamrock, founder and CEO of Courageous Public Health. I created Courageous Public Health because women in this field are already doing extraordinarily courageous things inside systems that rarely support or name that labor. My work focuses on helping public health and health-related organizations strengthen courageous leadership among the women on their teams through workshop, facilitation, and strategic conversations that move people from fear-based decision-making to grounded, values-driven action. I'm excited for you to hear today's conversation. I'm going to read her bio and then we'll get started. Indya Hairston is the founder and principal consultant of Community Speaks Consulting. She has over a decade of experience in community-based research, evaluation, and community building work. Through a Black feminist lens and a reproductive justice framework, her work amplifies the voices of marginalized communities focusing on health disparities that disproportionately impact Black and Brown women. With a background in psychology and a master's of public health, she's currently pursuing a doctorate of public health at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health within the women's reproductive health concentration. As a Black women-led consulting firm, Community Speaks Consulting serves as a vital link between communities and various service providers, envisioning a future where organizations are well-informed about community needs. Community Speaks Consulting facilitates meaningful conversations with communities through community-based research, evaluation, and coalition building services. Indya's extensive experience in building community relationships contributes to the organization's commitment to achieving equitable outcomes. Through her leadership, Community Speaks Consulting strives to create a future where everyone's needs are not only heard, but actively addressed. Ready to be inspired by courage? Let's go. I'm so excited to introduce Indya Hairston to the podcast today. Hi, Indya, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm good. I just have to say that you are sitting in front of a lovely Christmas tree.
Yes.
Because it is that season.
Mhm.
And it's the first Christmas tree that I have seen this season. And it's really lovely.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's December 1st, so I'm definitely in the spirit already. We put it
Love
up
it.
like maybe a couple of days ago, and so here it is in all its glory, lit and
Love it.
everything.
Love it. It's inspiring me to do some holiday decorating.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, December 1st, it's time. Let's go.
It's time. Yeah, I'm someone who I like to take it down like right after the new year, so it really doesn't get that much time to
Right.
shine in all its glory. So
Yes.
yes, got to put it
I,
up.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm excited to have you here. And I wanted to just start by giving a shout out to Dr. Natasha Knight, who recommended you as a guest. So thank you, Natasha.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Knight. Yes, I definitely need to reach out to her and catch up. We haven't talked probably since last year or so, when I was in my second year of my doctoral program. So I have to catch her up on all the things now. I'm in my third year and entering into the next phase. So yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. That's great. I'm
Mhm.
glad that gives you an excuse to give her a call.
Most definitely. Most
Fantastic.
definitely. Yes. Got to catch up.
Fantastic. So, yeah, why don't you start by introducing yourself?
Okay, so yes, I'm Indya Hairston. I am a Black woman. I'm a Christian. I am a partner, a daughter, a friend, and yeah, I do a lot of cool things. I like to think. I am a scholar, a researcher, an advocate, and really just a person that is on a mission to amplify voices that are traditionally underrepresented and just not heard, simply like that. And so a lot of my work really is focused on amplifying Black women's experiences around public health, so various health topics. So I've worked anywhere from sexual, reproductive, and maternal health topics that really affect Black women and Black families. And so, yeah, that's who I am. I do work that really touches home for me. And that's why I love the work that I do. And I don't think I'll ever get tired of it.
Oh, that's great. I love that you identify yourself as a scholar.
Mhm.
I can't remember the last time I heard that word. It's been a while since someone has used the word scholar in front of me. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I like that. You're a scholar.
I have to shout out my partner, Brandon, because it's so funny because when you like reflect back on like, college and like how you were as a student, me, type A, had to get a 4.0, like that was me, and he was an athlete. And so he's like, "Oh wow, you're just a scholar." And I'm like, "What?" And that's really where I got that from, because that kind of represents like, just someone who seeks to learn all the time. He even says after my doctorate, I'll probably find another degree to do, which I really, I rebuke that, but it's
But we'll
possible.
see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
You
see.
never know. You can find other ways to be a scholar, even if you're not in school.
Exactly. I definitely will be writing and reading and all those things that I love to
Yeah.
do, but I will not be in an institution. I will not be in school. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. Yeah. What a great word. Yeah. Perfect. All right. Well, I want to dive right in to our first question, which is about courage. And I always like to remind our listeners the difference between bravery and courage. So bravery is about taking action without fear, whereas courage is taking action despite fear. And so I think courage is really, really relevant for many of us right now. And always, really, really, honestly, courage is relevant for all of us all of the time. So I'd love to start by having you share some experiences from your professional life, from your personal life, where you've acted courageously.
Yeah. So I think for this one, I really want to speak on just the year of 2023. For
Yeah.
me, it was really a year of courage where I had to exemplify so much courage. I only can really realize it looking back now. And so in 2023, three major pivots happened within my life. One, I moved across the country. So I moved from Atlanta, Georgia to Austin, Texas, really for a fresh start, but also because my partner received a job offer that he could just not, of course, turn down. And we were both actually looking for new opportunities within our just job environments. And so the opportunity came up. So we moved across the country. The second one being I received acceptance into Johns Hopkins Doctorate of Public Health program. And so also with that, I only applied to one doctoral program, and I applied to it because of the concentration. It was a fairly new concentration, which is known as the Women's Reproductive Health concentration, which completely aligns with all the work that I do within reproductive and maternal health. And so I applied for it. I said, if I get in, it's meant to be. If I don't, oh, well, I'm not going back to school. So I got in. And
Wow.
So exactly.
Just pause on that.
Yeah.
You applied to one place, Hopkins, and you got in. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It was
Congratulations.
thank you so much. It was a crazy moment. I remember I called my parents crying because I had kind of told everyone, if this, sure, let's do it. If not, I'm not going to worry about it. I even applied the very last day. So I didn't even get consideration for any scholarships or fellowships. I really said, God, if this is meant to be, it's meant to be. I'll figure out a way to pay it. I'll figure out something and I'll go. And that has been the journey since. I'm now in my third year. Just wrapped up coursework and am looking to do my comprehensive exams in February.
So fun.
Yes,
fun.
I'm looking forward to those exams.
Yes.
And then, of course, moving into dissertation phase. And then that third thing that happened in 2023, I quit my full-time job at a nonprofit in Atlanta, and I launched a consulting firm. And so that really was probably the most courageous thing that I've done in my life. I did not have assurance of any contracts at the moment, but I knew that I wanted to really just do research and community-based work in my own way. And so feeling a little bit stalled, which is also hence of probably why I applied to doctoral programs, but just wanting something new. And so those three major things, all within really the first quarter of 2023, really showed me how much courage I had that I didn't realize I had. And like you said, it really is acting even in spite of fear, because I would be lying if I said I was not scared, if I was not, fearful of the outcome. How will I make money? How will I pay for school? All these things were really coming to the top of my brain, but I still acted on them. Yeah. And so, like I said, looking back now, I can acknowledge the courage that was there. And I'm so grateful for it, because it wouldn't have shaped me in my career professionally and personally if it were not for those decisions in 2023.
I mean, so this idea of realizing that you were courageous only later when you looked back. And I think that's probably what I want the podcast to do, is to help, remind us to think about all the times that we actually do act despite fear, all the times that we are courageous. And also, if we start recognizing all these times in the past, then we can actually start being intentional in the present about leaning into courage, right? So we don't always just realize it when it's already happened. And so, but I love that. I mean, this is kind of I see that as like the first step, is like realizing, oh, okay, so I was really courageous, and now I get to keep doing it.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm someone who I love to reflect. Like, I'm always looking back on,
me too.
Remember that time, and I'm always doing that. And so I think it really does help me, as you kind of mentioned, if I did it before, if it worked out, it's likely to work out again, right? And so for me, it really, when I think about, huge opportunities that I'm about to embark on, next big steps, that, of course, that fear is still there. But if I can look back on where I've come from or look back on what I've done, then that only motivates me to continue to move forward with maybe a little bit less fear, maybe a little more gratitude, a little more motivation for, okay, if this is what's, come so far, what's to come the next 3 years, And so I think I look at it from that perspective. I've had some perspective shifts definitely within this time frame of, being grateful for what has come, but also being really excited for what's next.
Yeah. I mean, we're scientists, right? We're scholars, we're scientists, and we like evidence. And so when you look back and you see examples of your own courage, that is evidence that you can be courageous and that it can have a really big impact on your life. And so I like to think of it as collecting evidence of our courage to then be like, yeah, I got this. I can do this.
I like that a lot. Like literally pulling from your own data,
Yes.
I like that.
That's a good quote.
I like that a lot. And like, as you said, we're researchers and we're scientists. So I think more of us really should look back, right? Like look back on, maybe 5 years prior, or maybe even last month if you went, through a big hurdle or a big obstacle. Look at how, it worked out and really use that as motivation to move forward. So I think I need to even start doing that more myself. But that question really prompted me to think about that year and how pivotal that year was, for sure.
Yeah. And I feel like there's so many examples of courage, like every day, like little examples, you know what I mean? And I think those are also, it's easy to discount them because you're like, oh, okay, yeah. So sure. It took courage for me to, get out of bed this morning and get back into my office since I haven't been here in several weeks. And, it's like, well, that's like a small thing, but I think that evidence actually counts as well. Those are like the ends of one versus, the end of 100 or end of 1,000. So
exactly. And then hopefully those little moments can build up into, more moments, but also just build up into bigger things that'll also lead to more courageous moments as well. Like I know for myself, even, doing this podcast is a little bit courageous for me because I think of myself kind of as like an introvert, but I can be extroverted when I have to like turn my little switch on, but definitely someone who loves peace and quiet, my own alone time. I'm an only child actually. So I love
Me
being,
too.
really, that's so cool. There aren't many of us. But I love, my own time. And so I was even telling a friend earlier today, sometimes even like putting myself out there and talking about my work and what I do is courageous for someone like me, where I feel like in the entrepreneurial journey, there's always a pitch or there's always a sell yourself, give me your elevator. But that doesn't really come to me naturally. So having to, dig deep within and pull it out is even a courageous act in itself. So really thinking of those little things.
Yeah, you are not the first guest to say,
it
took some courage to come onto the podcast. And to be honest with you, like every time I do an interview, I have to dig into some courage, right? It's like, really, I'm going to be on camera. I'm going to be, recorded and we're going to have this conversation. But it's good. It's so good. Yeah. Okay. So I love these examples of courage. And I like to think about courage in terms of authenticity and claiming and expressing your power, and particularly in spaces that don't always welcome it. So talk to me a little bit about how you express and embody courage and how you've sort of faced some of those challenges of being in spaces where your courage is not always welcome.
I think it really is a reminder to myself that I can take up space and that it is my right to do so. As I mentioned, as a Black woman, as a woman, just navigating society in these interesting times that we're in. A lot of times we are silenced or ignored or overlooked. And so when I am in a place or in an environment where I know that what I have to say needs to be heard, I remind myself that, okay, let's say it. Not only just to take up space, but to maybe influence a decision, maybe to just provide a different perspective, provide another point of view, because it could be helpful in some way, shape, or form to someone or regarding something. And so my dad often says, like, closed mouths don't get fed. And so I've taken that with me throughout my life, whether it's asking really for what I want out of life, professionally, speaking up, when it's in regard to negotiating a contract, or like, especially regarding money, especially regarding opportunities. A lot of things, a lot of relationships that I've built would not have came if I did not speak up. And so I've carried that along with me, and, just really reminded myself to open up your mouth and say something. Literally, I can hear my dad speaking to me right now. I always say my dad would talk to a tree. He never meets a stranger. And so I appreciate like those gems that he's really just provided me with over time. But I definitely think that as Black women, we have to speak up, but I also realize that the burden is placed on us a lot as well. And I acknowledge that. I felt it. It's exhausting. But I do sometimes wonder, if not me, then who? Especially if I'm in spaces where there's no one else that looks like me, or there may be some other folks that look like me, but maybe they're exhausted. Maybe they don't want to speak up at that time. And that's okay. We also deserve rest. But there are times where I've seen the impact in real time. I've seen the difference in real time, what it makes of just taking up that space and really using your voice.
That sounds like a lot to sort of hold both of those things at the same time. That, you want to use your voice, and it's a lot. It's a burden. It's a, so it just makes me think that the more that we can have, Black women and other people, other minorities, other people who maybe haven't had a place at the table, the more people that we have at the table, then that responsibility doesn't fall on one person. Right. That there can then be some shared responsibility. Although, even that, people who look like me also get to have some responsibility to speak up for other people. So, I mean, it's interesting. I'm literally like imagining, the table. I'm imagining the table. Yeah.
I imagine a table that is ever elongating in a way, right?
Ooh,
there are an infinite amount of seats.
Yeah.
Because the problems and the issues that we face within public health, and my work is directly tied to a lot of reproductive and maternal health outcomes that disproportionately affect Black and Brown communities.
Yeah.
It is not a issue that can be solved by one person or one group of people. These are systemic level issues that require everyone to join in at this table, to pull up a chair and to really roll up your sleeves and get to work. And so this table analogy, I love it, but I literally imagine like a dining room table that's just like growing from each side, with chairs being pulled up for everyone, from the, most eldest person to the youngest person, in every shape, size, color, ability, imaginable.
Yeah. That's great. The ever expanding table.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So I'm excited to talk to you about your vision now. So I'm curious about your vision for the future of public health. I'm curious about your vision for how Black women get to shape the future, like shape our future. And then, of course, I'm curious about your personal vision for your own future.
Yeah. Okay. So my vision for public health.
Yeah.
And I'll preface this with saying, when I started, I would say like in school and everything, I didn't even know what public health was. I thought I was going to be a pharmacist. I was going to go to pharmacy school. I had a whole plan, right? I hit organic chemistry and I was like, this is not for me. So really shaping my understanding of public health really came at the origins of psychology and just like general sciences. Those were my 2 degrees in undergrad. And so I shaped public health by what I saw. And so very early on, I saw an academic institution, a center at an academic institution, my alma mater, really engaged in community-based work, but through research. And I was like, wow, this is cool. And so when people speak of, oh yeah, community should be involved in research, to me, it's like, duh, of course. Because those were the first examples of research that I saw. And so I have a really blessed perspective because I have not seen or thankfully been a part of harmful work that was done with communities or to communities as a result of academic institutions. And of course, there are many examples. We all know them, from some of the worst to even some that are probably still happening today. It may not be intentional, but there is probably some harm being done. But I really saw great relationships, mutually beneficial relationships within community and academia. And so my vision for public health is that we take those models and apply them in more settings. So maybe it's not academia, maybe it's industry, maybe it's pharma, maybe it's political things, the public health departments. But I believe that the community does have the answers, but we need to listen. And we only need to just have town halls and forums. We need to listen in a way that there are actions that will come as a result of the time and effort that the community is spending to inform us of their challenges, inform us of what's going on. And so that's really my vision, is just how can communities continue to lead the way in a way that it is impactful and sustainable long term. I think there are many systemic issues at play. And so when you think about economic inequalities, racism, just like these structural things that are barriers, I think the community can really inform some of these solutions. But then we need politicians, we need legislators, we need healthcare executives and admins to really listen and help us to make these changes. I feel like my research can only go so far until we're able to make some of these systemic changes. And that's why, once again, with the table analogy, doctors, pull up your chair, lawyers, pull up your chair, everyone, it really will take great efforts from every sector, I believe, to really be involved in this, shaping, but also in this reimagined public health sphere, because I see public health as more than the folks that were making like vaccines. Public health is so much more than COVID-19, Ebola, and I think that's sometimes how the public may view us, as the scientists that are working in the labs, or maybe the folks that are at a health fair. Those are all public health, but even some of the work that you may be doing in whatever sector you work in intersects with public health as well. So how can we all really come together and help the next generation, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, it's, people in public health talk about how, everything is public health. Everything is public health, right? And it's so different from how people not in public health think about public health. They're like,
exactly.
But it's just these like few little things. It's like, no, public health it's everywhere. It's in all of these things. And so I love what you said about, people who are not necessarily in public health still have a seat at the table when we're talking about public health. In fact, we need them. Mm-hmm. It's not even like they, you get to have a seat. It's like, we need you at the table.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And and I do think that's a different, that's not how public health has always been.
For sure.
Treated, or it's not how public health has always functioned.
Exactly. Because, for example, an individual that works in construction, right, has a very different perspective than I do. But if you're developing buildings and plans of infrastructure that can affect communities and their air quality and water, all these things, you are directly, impacted. And so please, like, we invite you, we encourage you to please pull up a chair. And as you mentioned, I think public health has been historically, in a way, exclusive. And so I think folks before us, right, tried to, do things behind the curtain and tried to come up with new medicines and new vaccines, like almost, I don't want to say in private or in secret, but almost, in a way where like, hey, we'll tell you what we're working on later. We'll give you the results when it's done. But I think even during these processes, folks need to be more informed, but also more invited in. And so I see a future where everyone is able to help make decisions, help to inform decisions, but it's not secretive. Like, I think too much is being done in secret. We need to be very open with what's going on to really the masses. So then folks will know about public health. They won't be asking, so what exactly do you do? And what is public health? And why should I care? And why should I get a vaccine? Like, those questions, I think, can be more readily answered if folks have more information and more knowledge.
I totally agree. So what about your vision for your own future, Indya?
Oh, goodness. Yeah. As I mentioned, so I'm currently getting my doctorate in public health. And it's been a great journey so far. I often have wondered to myself, what will I do after this, right? Like, what will my career really look like? I think I definitely will continue my consulting work. So I'm currently in year 3 of my consulting firm, Community Speaks Consulting, where our mission is to amplify community voices. And I do that through 3 pillars: community-based research, evaluation and monitoring, and also community coalition work. And so, as that is my full-time job, right, I don't plan to stop that. I definitely envision my firm growing and expanding to more states. I would love to even do international work one day, and really just creating a team of consultants that are able to work on various projects in partnership with community-based organizations. And so typically we fill a gap or a need. So if a CBO gets a grant, they need a data collector on, or they need an evaluator on, that's kind of where we step in. And so I've been blessed to expand my team in previous years, but I would love to do more of that and also just expand our networks. And then, funny enough, in my application to Hopkins, and I remember I wrote this in my personal statement, I wrote to them that I wanted to disrupt academia. And so I believe that will be, hoorah. I believe that I will do that post-graduation as well. And so I look forward to, what does my seat at an academic institution potentially look like? What does that bring for me and for my work? And what does that bring for the future, students of public health, whatever that may look like? And so I've done a few guest lectures. I'm also in the teaching academy at Hopkins, so I can actually learn how to be a good professor and how to really engage students in all the ways. This is even though I am a student now, this is a different climate, I think, than students that are in undergrad now and in their masters now. So I'm interested in that lane as well. So I think it's twofold. It's continuing consulting, but it's also continuing and pursuing academia. And then just continuing to conduct independent research as well. And so that was one of the drivers of going back to school was I want to do my own research. I want to conduct my own studies. I want to lead implementation and the design. And so I'm grateful that I've been able to do some of that within my consulting work, actually, but also looking for what does more money look like? What does, more resources look like?
Yeah.
So that I can examine what's happening within Black maternal health, repro health, sexual, all the things, but also ensuring that I'm compensating community members for their time and their expertise, and hopefully partnering with community members in research as well.
Okay, so in your application, you said, I want to disrupt academia. And they were like, we need her in our program. That's really cool.
No, and it's funny to me that I kept that in there. I think it was definitely intentional. I knew I said that on purpose.
Yeah.
But I meant it, I meant that academia is an interesting place. I've been to 3 now, predominantly white institutions, where my voice hasn't always been welcomed, but I continue to show up and I continue to take up that space, as I mentioned earlier. And so I'm interested in what does it look like from the other side if I'm not a student anymore, if I am a faculty member, even if I'm an adjunct or a tenured track. I don't know what that looks like right now, but what does that look like for me to be on the other side of another young Black girl that is figuring out what she wants to do in her future? And so I've had a lot of great mentors, Black women in academia that I still speak to, and I appreciate their guidance and their wisdom. And so I think my journey next will, it'll be a turn of the tables for me to then be that to someone else.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're going to go and you're going to like smash those qualifying exams, and you're going to send me an email or send me a text message and be like, okay, I did it. Next step.
No, most definitely. I'm going to shout it from the rooftops. I cannot wait for those exams to be over.
Fabulous.
It's like on the top of my head, but also I have like a month or so till then I'll be fine. But then I really feel like after that hurdle, I'll be fine. Like I can do research, right? I can do a dissertation. It's these exams I just want to be done with.
I laugh because I've been on both sides, right? Like I had to do my own qualifying exams. And then when I was a professor, I was often the person who had to write the quantitative part of the qualifying exams.
Ooh.
So, and grade them. And so I've been on both sides. They're definitely, they can be scary. And honestly, they can also be a little bit fun. Like they can be a little fun. They can be a little fun.
I'm trying to see how
you can go in there with the attitude of like, this is going to be a little fun, right? Like I'm going to get through this, and it's going to be really awesome on the other side. And, it's the work that you love. So
exactly. And everything, that's what I learned too. And some advice that I got was to make all of my assignments about a topic that I actually work on and that I actually care about. So almost all my papers, I know my professors are probably like, this girl won't stop talking about Black maternal health. And I won't, because this is what I do. So if I can pull from research that I have read and that I know well, I'm going to write about it, and I'm going to make it the topic of my assignments, because that also helps prepare me for that final phase of dissertation, but also contributes to just my knowledge of, my field. So yeah.
I mean, that's a little fun.
And that part is really fun.
That's great.
Yes.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. I want to make sure that our listeners know the best way to connect with you. So what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, please feel free to reach out to me I'm on LinkedIn, Indya Hairston. You can also find me on Instagram socials at Community Speaks Consulting. That's my firm's page. And I also more recently am on TikTok as well. On there, I like to share about my journey and how I'm balancing being a doctoral student part-time, but also a full-time independent consultant that started, my own business and all of those, challenges, joys, all the things. So that handle is at Indya2DrPH. And so, yeah, I love for you all to follow me along on my journey. It's been really cool, like making videos and also just learning about all the other doctoral students out there, the folks in public health. Like, it's a really good community to be a part of. So I definitely welcome you all there.
Yeah. So we're going to put all of those links in our show notes. So it'll be really easy for people to connect. And, I had no idea that there was a community of public health doctoral students on TikTok. So I learned something really cool today, and I am absolutely I'm gonna check you out and check out this community.
Yes, please do. Yes, join us. Like, it's really cool just to see folks in various, sectors of public health too, all talking about their work, their research, also making even like funny memes about stuff going on. Because hey, we have to sometimes laugh to keep from crying. With this current administration and everything. So, yeah, it even brings a little bit of humor to it.
Are there dances? Do the public health professionals do the dances?
Sometimes. Some people are on there dancing. I'm really just yapping like I do. But some people are dancing. Some people are, doing trends to things, but making it about public health. Because, hey, this is also a way for us to spread awareness. So why not?
Totally. Okay. You might, okay. Look out for, Christy McGlamrock on TikTok doing a little public health dance. That might be part of my vision now for my future.
Exactly.
That's super fun. Well, thank you so much. And, we'll be in touch. I'm going to be looking for that email about your qualifying exams.
Yes, most definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sometimes courage is moving across the country with no guarantee except your belief that something new is waiting. Sometimes courage is applying to one dream program and trusting that alignment matters more than safety. Sometimes courage is walking away from a stable job to build work that reflects your purpose, even when fear is loud and money is uncertain. Indya Hairston reminds us that courage leaves evidence, that when we look back at the risks we took and survived, we collect proof that we can do hard things again. She also calls us to widen the public health table, to listen to communities not as participants, but as leaders, and to ensure Black women's voices are shaping the systems that affect our lives. If this conversation made you think about your own team, your own leadership, or the women in your organization who are carrying courage quietly every day, this is exactly the work I support through Courageous Public Health. I partner with public health, healthcare, nonprofit, philanthropic, and government organizations to design workshops and facilitated sessions that help women leaders recognize, strengthen, and intentionally use courage as a leadership skill, especially in times of uncertainty, burnout, and systems under strain. If your organization would benefit from this kind of support, I would love to connect. You can reach me through the Courageous Public Health website or on LinkedIn. The links are in the show notes. Until our next episode, stay courageous. Thank you for listening to the Courageous Public Health podcast. Visit courageouspublichealth.com to find the show notes for each episode and learn how to connect with us.